Are we really different from the villains in our favorite stories? Here's what you can learn from our shadows. We probably know that feeling when the antagonist story grips you more than the heroes. When you're watching a movie and think, actually, the bad guy kinda has a point. And sometimes we find the antagonist more interesting, more fascinating by their charisma and presence. Darth Vader, a classic example for a villain we secretly or not so secretly root for. At least I do. I mean, what do these pesky rebels actually want from the Empire, which the Sith painstakingly built to bring order to the galaxy? Why is that? Why does the shadow attract us, appearing more attractive than the light from time to time? The reason is that we aren't that different from the villains in our stories. We harbor the same feelings and emotions as the dark antagonists. Motivations like revenge, power, and unscrupulous personal gain are latent in everyone and break out of us every now and then. We want to be the badass, the one who gives the finger to the arrogant boss. We seek danger. We want to be the asshole for once. There's even a famous German song, "It's cool to be an asshole." Who remembers that? Probably no one. Sometimes we want to follow that dark voice inside just to see where it leads.
Are you talking about yourself, Oliver? You know what I call people who forget to refill my bowl?
Hey, Lucifer, don't tell me you overate again.
I'd love to, but how exactly? You give me less food than a yogi who claims to live solely on light nourishment. I need meat, Oliver. Meat.
You know exactly how I feel about meat consumption and animal farming.
How could I not? That was the first thing you told me when you picked me up from the shelter. But I'm a tomcat. I eat meat, not boring vegetables.
You know, Lucifer, I think you're right. We shouldn't twist who we truly are.
Wise words, my dear. Wise words.
But what if we shouldn't suppress this impulse to follow the shadow? The one we usually sweep under the rug because we think we always have to play the good guy. And furthermore, what if this dark side holds untapped potential that we haven't used yet out of fear? In this video, you'll learn everything about your shadow side and how to use it to fulfill your desires and grow beyond yourself. That sounds like a bold claim at first. How is the shadow supposed to help you become a better person? Haven't we been told our whole life to be nice, good, and well-behaved? To always follow the rules and to think of others first? At least, that's the impression institutions like the church, school, and the state give us. And you can't blame them. After all, they just want to maintain the status quo. And no, I'm not saying you should go out robbing and plundering to get what you want. You shouldn't become a carbon copy of your favorite villain. This goes deeper. It's spiritual in nature. First, we need to clarify what is meant by your shadow side. Your shadow side consists of parts of your personality that you either fear or suppress because you don't want others to know about them. They often include emotions like vengefulness, hunger for power, greed, selfishness, hate, envy, and so on. Our moral system has labeled these emotions as undesirable or even filed them under the category of sin. And while I 100% agree that such emotions have a destructive side and are the cause of wars and unnecessary conflict, at their core they also have something positive and constructive. It's like the Force in Faust, part of that power which still produces good whilst ever scheming ill. Greed is often just a misguided drive for ownership and influence. Selfishness is an exaggerated will to protect one's own interest. Vengefulness is a misguided sense of justice. You see the pattern? Most of us suppress these forces for a lifetime, missing opportunities to get to know ourselves better. On the contrary, by closing your eyes to it, we stay stuck in the swamp of our own darkness. The mud is often up to our neck, yet we don't want to climb out of it because fear blocks us. But our shadow side is a goldmine when it comes to drawing potential. Let's go back to Darth Vader. He uses the dark side of the Force and is one of the most powerful Jedi to ever live. Even stronger than Luke Skywalker, whose ass Vader had to save in the end. So the question shouldn't be, should we use the dark power? But rather, how do we use it without falling into the Faustian trap? Dr. Faust wanted knowledge and power, but his deal with the devil ultimately led to his downfall. Fortunately, We don't have to make a deal with the devil to access the power of the shadow side. There is a force that holds everything together, our good and bad sides. Darth Vader realized it in the end. The love for his son saved him, even though he threw Darth Sidious, the Emperor, into the abyss to save Luke from death. Darth Vader actually saved himself. He prevented his path into darkness, where only death and misery awaited. Love redeemed him. By loving your shadow side, we can unfold our untapped potential. When you stop looking away and accept what you are, you can move mountains, because with that acceptance comes an unshakable belief in yourself. You know that you are enough and that even your weaknesses aren't weaknesses at all. In truth, they are the source of the greatest miracle you can perform, truly knowing and loving yourself. In the following, I will give you a short exercise on how to turn your shadow side into a strength. Take a piece of paper and a pen. Write down a trait or emotion for which you judge yourself. For example, I am envious of the success of others. Step 2. Ask yourself, what is the positive intention behind this feeling? What good thing does this shadow actually want to achieve for me? With envy, the answer might be, it shows me what I want to achieve myself. It's actually my ambitions trying to wake me up. Step 3. Rephrase the sentence. Instead of saying, I'm envious, you say, I feel my ambition, and now I'm using this energy to fuel my own goals. You can do this exercise as often as you feel overwhelmed by a negative emotion. If you do it regularly, you will gain unexpected strength because you will recognize yourself. You turn vice into virtue. You transform lead into gold. By the way, this form of mental alchemy is the true meaning of the lead to gold metaphor. If you made it this far, I'd love for you to subscribe. Also, I'd like to recommend you my book Crimson Crows. It's a novel about a band that gains supernatural powers in the crossfire of dark forces. But the true heart of the story is the inner transformation from shadow to light. Plus, it's extremely entertaining. If you want to know more, link in the description. That's it for now. Until next time, seekers of truth.